A couple of years ago, Crux Fermentation Project, a craft brewery in Bend, invited Southern Oregon's Rogue Creamery to collaborate on a beer inoculated with Rogue Creamery's famous Rogue River blue cheese. The result is Crux's latest release, Coolship No. 6. Crux's Larry Sidor and Rogue Creamery's Margaret Merritt join host Will Smith to discuss and taste the bluey brew.
You're listening to Savor on Jefferson Public Radio, where we talk about all things food-related with a focus on keeping it local. I'm your host, Will Smith. We have two of my favorite products merging into a collaboration. We have Marguerite Merritt, Cheese Emissary and Marketing Manager at Rogue Creamery, and Larry Sidor at Crux Fermentation Project up in Bend, Oregon. Hello, you guys.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
So a lot of people would say this is an unusual blend of two things. I'm just curious of how this got started.
Well, I guess I'll jump in there. Is that the former owner of Rogue, David Gremmels, and I are associates at the Oregon State Food Science Department, and we just got talking one day, and I had a Coolship on wheels, and Dave said I have a cave, and that's how it got going.
Well, I've been told that this is sort of something that you've been doing here in Oregon, is going to a specific location and sort of inoculating your mash, or I don't know the correct terms, to create these sort of native blends.
Correct. It's kind of a terroir of flora and fauna. And we did our first one at our pub in Bend, just so we could kind of test the system and whatever. And it was, minus degrees outside and worked out well. And the next stop was at the Chutes Land Trust on the Metolius. And then we did one at Smith Rock, and then White's Creek near Sisters, and then Rain Shadow Organic Farms on close to Redmond.
Are they all ales?
Yeah, we try to go down the pathway of what will suit the individual location. Right. But basically they're all Belgian ales of some sort, and kind of depending on what the temperature is outside and such, we'll vary the formula a little. But one thing that's consistent is we don't put very many hops in there because they are antiseptic, and we want to harvest the yeast and the bacteria that are in the air.
Can you walk us through a little bit about what the procedure is? Because it's not something that's too simple.
Yeah, so the way this works is that the Coolship is an ancient, thousands of years old concept. One of the steps in brewing that you do is to boil the final liquid, and you do that so you coagulate proteins that are in there, and you activate the hop compounds that are in there, and extract flavors. And then you're also sterilizing the whole thing at the same time. But you have a problem is you've got this boiling solution, and if you try to put yeast or bacteria in there, well, you kill it.
Right.
So the solution was a shallow pan, and then they would let it cool down overnight. And what the result would be is it would harvest the yeast and bacteria in that local area. And so beers kind of got born out of that area because of their terroir and such. So that's the background.
Yeah, so unique. So after you've inoculated your mixture, then you take it back to Bend and do what?
We put it in. We have quite a few wine barrels that we use for different things, for aging beers in and such. And so we'll put it in a barrel, and it will ferment in that barrel, because you have kind of two steps with making beer, fermenting beer. One is where you need oxygen so that the yeast reproduces and such, and then you need to go into a phase where there's no oxygen, and so that's where the barrel comes in. So it ferments in the barrel and then stays in there for just about a year, because our inoculum that we get from the air is not all that great. Its numbers are fairly low,
right? And
so it takes a while to ferment.
I was at the creamery over the weekend, getting the beer, and the gentleman I was speaking to was talking about the fact that I guess they were calling you every 6 months, like, is it ready? Is it ready? So it tells you when it's ready, and you have to be patient, obviously.
Oh yeah. I've had some of these projects that have taken almost 2 years to fruition, and then I had one, I think, that was about 6 months. It kind of came around, but it definitely tells you when it's ready.
That's amazing. And then when it's ready, you need to bottle it immediately?
Yeah,
Okay.
you have to stop the process because
So amazing.
you've got it in a barrel, and there's some micro-oxygenation that is occurring because of the wood that's of the barrel, and so you need to put a stop to that.
Amazing process, complicated. Marguerite Merritt, how are you? And what has been the response to from your customers at the shop?
We have been really enjoying it, both our team and our customers, actually. We really didn't know what to expect when this whole idea came about, but we were certainly open to experimentation. And when the final product was delivered and we had a chance to taste it about a month ago, we were all really excited because we were worried it might be too cheesy or intense for some of our customers. But it's really quite a balanced, light, moderate style beer. It has some wonderful tart, fruity notes and a nice complexity, a slightly sweet finish, but not overpowering in any manner. It's been really a fun experiment, and we're really enjoying seeing what our customers think of it.
So great. So just to remind everybody, this is Savor on Jefferson Public Radio. I'm your host, Will Smith. I'm speaking with Marguerite Merritt, the cheese emissary, marketing manager at Rogue Creamery, and Larry Sidor from Crux Fermentation Project. And a shout out, because I am a half hitch man and a huge fan of Crux Fermentation. So great to speak with you both. So Larry, can you talk about any of these other sort of unusual projects you have going on in the state?
Boy, yeah, I've gone by. I think this is number 8 that I did. So I did. Let's see, one at the Chutes Land Trust and Smith Rock and Righteous Creek and Rain Shadow.
And what kind of volume are you creating from these expeditions?
Not much, because what we have to do is we have a tank that we put the boiling liquid in, and then we have to transport that, and then we have what I call a beaver tail, and we pump it kind of through the air to kind of harvest some of these bacteria and such.
Sure.
And so you're only talking 20 hectoliters, not a whole lot of beer. So it's a labor of love, let me tell you.
Yeah, obviously it must be.
Yeah.
So I have Dave Young here. He's the operations manager here at JPR, and we have 2 full glasses of this ale, collaboration between Rogue Creamery and Crux Fermentation. Dave, how are you?
Well, I'm good, thank you.
So
I'm just wandering by the studio, and I got turned into a lab rat, but that's okay. Yeah.
I asked another producer here at the station who declined my invitation. So you're second.
Dave.
Well, I have to say that these are two flavors that I would not have put together
exactly
in my mind. And so somebody had to suggest it to me for me to even consider it.
Right.
But I'm intrigued to taste it. I haven't tasted it yet. I will say I've stuck my nose in the glass.
Yeah.
And so one of my questions for your guests is, the nose, I have to say, doesn't draw me in. Like I said, I haven't yet tasted it yet. But I'm wondering if that's been a comment you've gotten from anybody else, or if you have any comments on the nose itself as opposed to the flavor of the beer.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. Is the nose on it is a little demure. I mean, it's not a punch you in the face kind of thing. Yeah. One of the things we had to consider is at Rogue Creamery, what will the flora that they have ferment, and beer has maltose in it and such, and as a sugar, and not so much. So I won't say we cheated, but we kind of saw what was coming when we brewed this, and we put some lactose in the beer, so that that's what blue cheese ferments. I mean, it ferments the lactose. So we gave it a little nutrition that it would really appreciate. So I think you're going to be in for a little shock when you taste it.
All right, well, let's find out, because here I go. I'm raising the glass.
We're going for it.
Raising the glass to my lips.
Not anything that I was expecting. Has that kind of lambic sourness to it, which I like. It's refreshing. But yeah, there's that really earthy, a little funky sort of background notes.
I have to say I don't get the blue cheese. I mean, I get something, but I wouldn't call it blue cheese.
Right.
If nobody had told me what
Right.
was in this beer,
It's not cheesy.
I would not have identified blue cheese.
Right. So interesting.
Yeah.
So,
But
I have a challenge to you. So if you need to drink a whole glass.
Well, see, I was going to ask you about that. Does the volume of the consumption affect the review?
That is so funny.
Well, not really. But the thing is sweetness is somewhat cloying. Some people with wines will call it cloying or flabby. And one thing when you drink like multiple sips, all of a sudden you'll start going, wow, the blue cheese is there. And I get it after about, I'd say, a half a glass, something like that.
No, and I think that's true. I think there is this definite blue cheese background, but it's not that. It's more
It's not up front.
It's not up front, and it's more in your nose and in the back of your mouth, kind of.
Yeah.
Reminiscent.
Yeah, it's kind of a little combat between the acidity and the blue cheese flavor.
Yeah. How many types of lambics do you make there at Crux these days?
Oh my goodness!
Is that is that your favorite thing?
Oh, it's my personal favorite thing.
So
it's
great.
not our customers' favorite thing, but it's my favorite thing. So we make quite a few. We as the name of Crux indicates, we're a fermentation project. So
Right.
I've always got multiple strains of yeast and bacteria going on at any one time.
Very interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have another.
Okay. So in the meanwhile, let me ask, do you plan on making any further adjustments to the process or to the formula? Or do you think this is as good as those two things are going to get together?
Yeah,
Well, it's a one-off. I mean,
Yeah.
I doubt if we're going to do this one again. I mean,
Yeah.
the next one we're looking at is going to Hood River during the bloom
spring.
and put a Coolship in there. And that one's going to be pretty fragile, I think. So we might go a little lighter with the malt and such. So it'd be kind of I won't call it a light Belgian pale ale, but it'll be a little on the lighter side to see if we can't pull in some of those bloom type.
Yeah, would it be more like floral in nature?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, very sweet. A question for both Marguerite and Larry. Where can people pick these bottles up?
Here in Southern Oregon, the Rogue Creamery Cheese Shop is going to be your resource. We are well stocked for now, but they are selling quickly. So I recommend if anyone's eager to try this out, come in and get a bottle or get a beer on tap. We have several kegs in the back, and we're pouring it, and it's absolutely delicious with the Rogue Creamery Classic Grilled Cheese. But if you're looking for it outside of Southern Oregon, Crux has 2 tasting rooms, one in Bend and the other in Portland, and it is available at both locations.
So it's both at all 3 locations. It's on tap, so you can sample it before you buy a bottle if you so choose.
Anything exciting happening for the month of December that you'd like to mention to people?
Well, we're already off and running. We release Tough Love, our Russian Imperial Stout, every year, and it's for sale right now. And it's in a lot of places. I know, Safeway, all those Fred Meyer and Costco and those folks all carry
Super.
it. So that's kind of our big push for December. But we always have, one-off beers in our pubs that we're letting go.
Super. And Marguerite, anything happening at the creamery?
Well, we are already well underway in our holiday celebrations here, and our cheese shop has really been stocked up for the holidays. We've got some new merchandise dropping in the next few days even for those last-minute holiday shoppers or stocking stuffers. We're just really looking forward to finishing out the year strong and brainstorming what's coming next for Rogue in the new year.
Super. Well, you guys, happy holidays to you both. Thank you so much for your time. Marguerite Merritt, Cheese Emissary Marketing Manager at Rogue Creamery, and Larry Sidor from Crux Fermentation Project in Bend, Oregon. Please give them both a visit. You've been listening to Savor, JPR's regional food podcast. You can find this program and more on our website at jeffexchange.org or subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you and be well.